Hello. Welcome to Outlaw Redemption, the podcast, a Western folk rock opera. I'm your host, Bill Wardlow.
And I'm RPG.
And we're coming down right to the end of the story, buddy.
Yep, we're getting to the...
It's been a long journey.
It's been, man, and here we are. What a precarious situation, sitting in jail.
Trial.
Getting the trials coming up. You're walking out knowing you're about to receive your fate. And then all of a sudden you're in the trial room and everybody's there. Everybody's there. You got townspeople there. You got those little minion boys. You got the baron there. You got the circuit judge come in, federal judge. You got the whole 9 yards. And you got the preacher. And you got Prairie Flower. She's there. And our poor boy's sitting up on the stage. But then just looked like it was going to be elementary and be done. Sign it off just like Dad. Guilty. Bam. Let's walk out to the gallows and have done with, kind of thing. But this time it kind of changed. People started getting up, testifying, talking about who Hezekiah was and how bad Rex had been and how cruel he had been and the things he'd done over the years and how Hezekiah had done nothing but help him and do things for the town, how he was faithful at the church and how he was there every Sunday and Wednesday and the preacher told his story and all these letters that Prairie Flower bought. And then it goes on that, the next thing, there's the last letter they read off, and it's from the office of the governor, from that secretary, that Hail Mary to the wind, and it was, they decided to commute the sentence to life in the custody of Prairie Flower and the responsibility of being father for Prairie Flower's child. And being the father of that. So, just as crazy as it sounds, there was some beyond redemption. There was actually like a miracle of forgiveness, and then it got, the whole place kind of erupts and they start talking. And then finally, even the Baron breaks down. And I know Prairie Flower probably remind him that's the only family that he had left in this world. But he ends up giving over the farm and to raise his grandchild on. Gives it over to the killer of his son, and he knew the truth, a hard truth he didn't want to face. And he felt responsibility because he raised a child like that.
Yeah.
That he realized that child found his consequences for his actions too. It's hard to admit that he had a grandson and not admit that his son was a rapist and a violator of women.
Right.
So maybe he was making peace with himself or trying to make his karma or make his legacy, keep his legacy together. It seems to be important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
also, we find out the
identity of our narrator. And I don't really want to ruin anything about that. That's for y'all to find out about. I mean, it's not too far now. We got probably a little thing about this song, and you can find out the answer to that because it comes pretty quick. But that's our story. So we find him. So we find our hero somehow
living happily ever after.
Yeah, punished, but not. I mean, his punishment was he had to stay and take care of that and raise the son or daughter or the child of the person that he had killed. A child that he could easily resent if he wanted to, but he was blessed by the Lord. And I mean, he knew that he had been blessed and he took it on himself. So we end this at the end of the night with him and the preacher, his new father-in-law, and sitting outside by the fire. And we had our third visit from the birds. We got a nice hoot out and lots of crickets and such, and sitting around the fire playing a little tune. And so this was kind of neat what we did here. We'll start first with the chapter. It was real cool because actually we got more instruments on the chapter this time than we actually do on the final song. So we got classical guitar. We used mandolin and violin. And it's kind of it feels old school. It feels like the end of a Ma and Pa kettle or something, or they just rode up the mountain or, whatever, found that home in the beautiful valley or something. That's what it kind of feels like. It sounds and feels just like the end of an old-time Western.
Absolutely.
And so that's a beautiful thing. Those guys did such a great job at that. I mean, in the entire project. But like I said, mandolin and violin. But then we chose, so we really indulged ourselves on this project.
Really
Indulged ourselves. And we got this. So what we came into this last song, there was a simple thing, we started with a theme about home, family, being all there. And then we go back to, and we go through all of this turmoil and all of this struggle and all this nearly finding and having it ripped away from us only to have it returned to us at the end. And there's a point being made about how we started. The first song is called Sunrise on the Farm. And I chose the name Second Chance Sunset for this. And that was kind of like fitting. The end of our story, we're back on a farm. We got a lady, a husband and a wife about to have a child, grandpa sitting around, and they're just sitting around the fire enjoying a beautiful sunset in the evening outside, picking on their instruments. So like I said, as much as we indulged ourselves, we thought, well, we don't want to be a one-trick pony here and just show that we can overproduce stuff, the whole thing. So we decided to do a stripped down.
Well, and initially we were going to do this with just you.
Just me, but yeah, I just thought it would be cool to have a father-son.
Yeah. Well, we had done several takes of it throughout the project.
Yeah.
On several different days, and never quite got the take we wanted.
Nah, it just felt like there was something missing, and then we came up with that. Let's do this live. We did this with one mic in the middle of the room, and we did this live, and it was just me and Mike Moeller, and it's just something about it, just the simplicity of it all. After we did so much grand orchestration, we just wanted to do something that was just raw, and didn't want to add any drums. I thought the crackle of the fire pit and animals in the nighttime, sort of evening dusk theme was enough of the.
I thought that was a nice addition to it.
Yeah, it was just like natural percussion to me. It set the backdrop for a very raw, like I said, one microphone performance kind of thing.
And that runs through the whole performance.
Yeah, we run it through the whole thing because nobody shuts the fire off when the song starts. And for personally, that's one of my favorite things in the world is that in my life, sitting around the campfire and picking on a guitar was one of my favorite things that I got to do in this entire life, and it's where my passion for wanting to play guitar came from. Sitting around with other people around the campfire playing guitar, creating music, right there on the spot. No electric, no nothing. An inanimate piece of object, a piece of wood and some metal, creating this beautiful scene, this beautiful picture, this beautiful sound. You're making it speak. An inanimate object speak. That's an amazing thing when you think about it. An engineered, how beautifully they're made instruments are, but yet how the engineering is so that that box will make, it's an engineering feat. But it's also a piece of art, the way they carve and make up guitars. So, but yeah, it's kind of cool because it's also, so we're back and we've captured this dream. And the funny thing is, like father, like son, he's got a new father.
Yeah.
He's got a new family, and it was just one of the things, sometimes, that we're blessed in this earth. We're granted a particular kind of mercy, even greater than some and others. And I don't know. It ain't my business to figure it all out. The fact is that the same redemption is given to all of us freely. So we're all on the same playing grounds. And, maybe sometimes that things get so far down that, in the Bible, it does say in absence of this, to be absent of the body is to be present with the Lord. So some of these people were tortured, and their story ended in a very tough place, but then freedom, and with the Lord afterwards, in my belief, heaven. You can't get to heaven being here.
Nope.
And that's it's a hard truth. And I don't mean to sound callous about that. And but I have a belief in that. It gives me great comfort. So we do what we got to here. And we have a hope for a reunion, as they say in old-timey ways, that reunion in the sky where we're back with the Lord where we began and we're with all those people that we were here with, That's why we all want to be at that big, in the sky, Lord, in the sky, being that holy host in that choir, playing that music for the Lord, man, in that concert hall that is heaven, playing that song that is the best one ever. You know, so yeah, that's the end. You know, but in the meanwhile, they got a little bit more time here, and we got a new generation to come up. I'm pretty sure there was a whole bunch of more Hardmen that came out of that situation. You know, there was I'm sure that in our story somewhere along the line there was probably many grandchildren for the preacher. You know, a man that was ready to give up life out on the prairie.
Right.
Except he had a little girl to take care of. And now he's sitting on a beautiful farm himself, right next to the church that he runs, with grandchildren, you know, on the way. Grandchildren on the way. So it's not to give up hope.
And a fitting ending to our story.
I like it. The sun going down, hoot owls going, and them guys living. I can just imagine Prairie Fur up on the porch watching her dad and her husband out there picking them guitars, looking at them, smiling, not believing that the change of events and how that life had turned around and that all her prayers were answered. Her and all the congregation that prayed for him the whole time that he was in there because they knew he was a good man. And they knew the other one wasn't no good, and they knew what he did and wasn't right, but they still wanted to speak for him. They didn't think he deserved to die. And just the Lord has his ways. The world has its ways, man. It's cruel and hard. And I mean, there's beautiful things in this world, but there are some very hard things that happen and circumstances, and then the Lord does some amazing things.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
So I just want to take a second. If you're still listening to this and listen, I want to thank you all for listening to two old men ramble on about a story they done.
Especially me. I ramble.
And you know, it's been a lot of fun to go through this and kind of pick it apart. And this was a big chunk out of our lives. A lot happened in the last year. And
there's a lot of things going on, and this happened in between all. It's almost surreal.
Yeah.
It's almost surreal.
Definitely. But
great friendships were forged.
Grateful I met you.
Me too.
At that funny show on Fountain Square, and I'm glad we got to take this journey together.
I walk up to a guy that tells me he's got a studio, and I tell him my grand crazy idea, and he looked at me and said, "Yeah, we could do that."
And by God, we did.
By God, we did. Yeah. It was the coolest thing I ever got to do in my life, man. Like projecting, I've really done some cool stuff.
Yeah,
the Lord's blessed me a lot,
but
this is awesome, and the great thing is it's sitting at the end of it. So we get done with this podcast.
There'll be new music coming out right after this. So
I laid a hint. We got 31 songs that we are in process of developing now. But right now we're going to stick with what we got.
So if you're picking up these episodes as they're coming out, look in the next couple of weeks because there'll be some new music coming out.
Yeah. We're gonna do. Well, we're gonna release one of these a week.
One of the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. Yeah, we're going to release a podcast a week, and then we're going to go back on our endeavor to put out something. The goal is every 2 weeks. If we get off of that and stay close, I'll be happy. But the goal is, we're trying to. I wish I had that quote, but it said something about an idea that you put a date on becomes
It's
a dream that you. How's that go?
Perkins Law. Is it Perkins Law. If you give yourself a finish time, it will take that much time.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't heard that one. What I heard is a dream without a date is just a dream, but a dream with a date is I don't know. That's how you get something done.
Well, with that said,
that's some good old logic from RPG there.
With that said, go check out some RPG and the Kentucky Tumbleweeds, wherever you stream music at, and go check out a show. Come up and say hi to us.
Yeah, we'd love that. Thank you guys if you've made it this far, thank you for listening to us. Again.
So here we are. Here's the end of our story, Chapter 10.
Second Chance Sunset. sure does have his ways. He does things that we never understand till he's already done it. And even then, who knows? What looked to be a quick trial and hanging turned. Prairie Flower got up and told her story. And then she also brought letters from all the church members, speaking to Hezzy's kindness and character. Each of them had a story about how he helped them. And the last letter came from the office of the governor, commuting the sentence to life in custody of Prairie Flower and declaring him the father of her unborn child. And even in a stranger twist, perhaps because of shame or loss of a son, or maybe because he got a little reminder from Prairie Flower that that was the only family that he had in the world, the Baron gave the livery and a farm to Hezzy to raise his family on. Well, I know this story may be hard to believe, but I was there. I was the preacher. So as I started this tale at sunrise, I guess it'd only be fitting to end it at sunset on the farm. Hey son, let's play that one you wrote about that second chance sunset.